A Windsor man is challenging Canada's assisted dying law. It came into effect last summer but does not extend to people with mental illness. Now, Adam Clayton insists that has to change. I met him back in September. Now, when you first take a look at the 27-year-old, it's tough to believe he's battling all these mental illnesses. Clayton has been dealing with anxiety, mood disorder, and obsessive-compulsive disorder since he was a child. He's also in debilitating pain, but he says doctors cannot find a physical cause. Now, he's tried various treatments, but says nothing has helped. Over the next couple of days, I will give you a deeper look into the issue. Today, have a look at my conversation with Clayton. I asked him why he wants to die.
Now I can't read 3 pages of a book. Just to get through the first 2 would leave me with, I would say, 6 hours of pain that I'd have to experience after those 2 pages. I can't read, I can't write, I couldn't hold a job at a McDonald's or a Burger King despite having credentials that far exceed that level of job. So in terms of quality of life, my income is completely thrashed. Unfortunately, I do live currently on an Ontario Works benefit. I have no friends, I have no energy ever, and that's attributed to the chemical component of depression.
And so why are you fighting for the right to a doctor-assisted death?
Non-existence is better than this. Non-existence is better than having my father having to go down my banking history to make sure everything's in check. He's like my personal assistant. He goes through my mail. He's POA on everything that I've ever put my name on. Very simple menial tasks that a 26-year-old confident male should easily be able to do. I cannot. My father has to do it for me. I barely have enough energy to do the dishes, etc. Sometimes I can't even get out of bed. In fact, I was bedridden for approximately, I would say, 6 to 7 months or so, where I put on over 40 pounds. The real reason for someone like myself wanting the right to die is very simple. Once there is no quality of life, life is akin to a meaningless existence.
When did you make that decision that that's what you wanted?
2016, I think, sealed it for me. I obviously, like many people who experience turmoil, experience mental illness, etc., we want to believe that with hard work, perseverance, etc., things are going to turn around. We want to believe where there is a will, there is a way. It sounds so nice. And wouldn't it be so nice if that were the case?
And right now, the government has stipulated they're limiting access to protect people with mental illness, let's say. What are your thoughts?
People with mental illness do, in fact, deserve a level of protection in terms of we need to protect them from what are known as cognitive distortions. People with depression often have them. Just this idea that it will never get better, it can never get better, it has to end now. If it's like a 2 or 3 week thing, obviously it doesn't make sense to cut the cord. But if someone's suffering for years and years and years like myself, then what are you protecting them from? If they've done so much therapy, you're not protecting them, you're just confining them to pain.
It seems like it took a lot to get you to this stage.
It's just incredibly surreal, because I always thought at this point in my life I'd be on Bay Street or trying to get to Singapore to live in a commerce hub or something. So it's very strange, and it's very saddening. Of course, I personally love life. I don't want to leave. If I could snap my fingers and all these illnesses would be cured, then we wouldn't be sitting here today.
What do you tell your parents?
I said, if I can't live the life I want to live, and I can't have the quality of life I want to have, if I'm going to suffer every single day, I'm going to leave.
What's going to happen you're lobbying for the change, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon.
There's simply the opportunity of me just taking my own life and inducing the cessation of the suffering on my own accord.
How close are you to that point, considering where the laws stand right now?
I'm a lot closer than I'd like to be. I could honestly say I'm relatively close. I don't self-harm, I've never cut myself, I've never had a suicide attempt, I've never done anything in that capacity. But I know that as every day passes, I've had more and more of enough.
And your illness is getting worse.
Yeah, it's for some reason it seems to be kind of degenerating. In my opinion, when you speak to someone like me, it's rather blatant that I obviously have mental illness, but I'm obviously very rational, and I'm obviously very aware of my surroundings, etc. Like I always say, it requires a case-by-case analysis. If the government simply chooses to continue to enact delaying tactics and arguing with the Supreme Court of Canada, etc., and I don't really see a definitive conclusion coming in a relatively acceptable period of time for me, and I've had enough. One day I'll simply say, Adam, you contributed to a very good cause, you did the right thing, but no one should be condemned. And no one should be as sick as you.
How do you want to be remembered if it ever comes to that?
I guess I'd just like to be remembered as the tenacious worker that I always was, whether it was playing soccer and scoring goals, or switching from an airheaded jock to a full-blown academic, getting straight A's and scholarships, and then getting sick and still really being tenacious and pursuing a socially beneficial cause.
Now, I checked in with Meyer Clayton a few weeks ago, and he's not giving up yet. He tried something called ketamine infusions at Windsor Regional Hospital, but tells me that hasn't worked either. Now, tomorrow we'll give you a look into those who are for and against assisted dying for the mentally ill. Now, for the full web story, head online tonight to cbc.ca/Windsor.